Hi, and thank you for joining me for your IStep prep. My name is Danielle Martinez, and I'm a student learning advocate at Indiana Cyber, and we've partnered with One-on-One Learning, a tutoring company that also provides online tutoring for many of our students at Indiana Cyber. And we've come together to develop this presentation for you to go over test-taking skills and strategies to get you prepared and feel confident for the IStep. First thing we're going to talk about is how good test prep starts with your health. The night before the test, you will always want to get a really good night's rest. The morning of the test, you're going to want a healthy breakfast, nothing too heavy because it'll make you groggy or sleepy. Relax a few hours before bedtime the night before as well. In the morning, do some easy stretches just to get oxygen flowing to your brain. And always keep a positive attitude about the test. The first area we're going to talk about is the English and Language Arts area. This presentation is going to cover the English and Language Arts and also math. You may also be taking the science or social studies part of the IStep, and just keep in mind that even though we don't go into the content area, all of these test-taking skills and strategies that I'm going to go over with you are all things that you can apply while taking those tests as well. We're going to look at the IStep vocabulary. Take a moment and pause the video at this point and go over the key words and phrases, as well as a sample of how they may use these keywords or phrases under the notes column. This will give you a good idea about the types of questions that you may come across, as well as the types of words and vocabulary that the test may use. So now we're going to go over some test-taking strategies for reading. Keep in mind again, these can also be used for science and social studies, and as you'll notice when we go over the math, it also applies to math as well. You want to read and follow directions closely. Read the passage carefully and underline or circle important information. Read each question carefully to make sure you are understanding what the question is asking. It's especially important to pay attention to bold, italics, uppercase, and underlined text. Always look back or reread the passage to find the correct answer to the question. Answer all of the questions on the test. Never leave a question blank. Look back at the passage as often as necessary to answer the questions completely. Study any pictures, charts, graphs, tables, and captions that are presented. Also, make sure your answer is based on the information in the passage and not just on your opinion. Budget your time wisely and check your answers carefully. Now I'm just going to go into some strategies for multiple choice specifically. Always read all your choices first before you choose your response. Think about the answer before you select it from the answer choices. Always choose the best answer. There may be two good answers, but you always want to choose the best. Be sure to fill in the bubbles properly and completely. Don't leave any stray marks around the answer spaces. Change your first answer only if you're sure that it's not correct. When you do change your answer, if you do, always make sure that you erase the answer completely before you fill in the new one. This way, anyone looking or grading your test will know exactly which answer you selected. Frequently check that you are filling in the appropriate bubble, and always use approximately about 1 minute for each item answered. That's a really good way of pacing yourself. I'm going to go over a testing strategy for reading specifically. It's called Search and Destroy. Your plan of attack should be, first you preview the text and number all your paragraphs. Circle the title, any jump out words, charts, pictures, or numbers, because those are important. Preview the questions, circle keywords in them and identify the types of question they are, if you can. They may be main idea, context clues, or cause and effect. Read the text and write side notes. Answer the questions and go back and prove your answer. Now we're going to go into some test-taking strategies for writing. Read and follow the directions closely again. Read the prompt carefully and completely. Plan to include lots of examples and details in your response. Budget the time you spend planning so that you leave enough time for actually writing your response. Make sure to write your entire essay response within the lines provided. And always check your essay response and make corrections to improve your writing. I'm showing you this sandwich chart because I think it's going to be a good visual for you during the test to picture what a good response should look like. The top bun should be the topic, the bottom bun of the sandwich is the concluding sentence, and everything that you fill that sandwich in with are going to be the details. So keep this in mind when you are doing your responses, that it always has all these parts. Another thing to remember is RAP, R-A-P-P, when you're doing constructed responses. Restate the question, answer the question, prove it with the text, and proofread and edit. If you need to, take a couple of minutes, pause the video, and go through these in detail. Now, what do good writers do? Good writers remember capitals and punctuation. Try to spell the words correctly, or write the sounds you hear in the word if you don't know how to spell it. Write neatly so that the person grading your response can read it. Add lots of detail. Writing needs to make sense, remember that. Think before you write. If you need to, use a graphic organizer. Have a plot if you need to, beginning, middle, and end. Do your best. Always read, think, and then write. Remember, you are a good writer. Here are some examples of some scoring rubrics. This gives you a good idea of what the person grading your response is looking for. Make sure that you stay on topic, provide in-depth information, support with lots of details, follow a clear sequence with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Remember the sandwich chart, your topic, your details, and your conclusion. Have a logical progression of main ideas and support those ideas with details. Include good and different varying vocabulary. Sound natural. And writing may have a unique perspective. It may be original, lively, authoritative, and or interesting. So they're looking for, does the writing sample display a sense of audience? Take a few moments, pause the video, and look over these scoring rubrics to get a better idea of what the scorer is looking for. Here I've provided you with a writing prompt sample. As well, on the right, you have a response to the writing prompt. The student in the writing response scored a score 0.4. Take a few moments, look over the prompt and also the response. This will give you a good idea of what a score 0.4 is looking for. You will notice in the response that there is an introductory paragraph. In the middle, there are details, and in the end, there is a concluding sentence. Now we're transferring into the math portion of this presentation. We're going to cover the IStep vocabulary first, just as we did with the reading. Take a few moments, go over the keywords and phrases, and look at the notes column. This, again, will give you a good idea of what to expect during the test and the vocabulary that will be used. Test-taking strategies for math. Again, always read and follow the directions carefully. Budget your time. Check your answers. For multiple choice questions, solve the problem first and then choose your answer among the choices given, or work backwards from the answer choices. Show your work. You will be graded on your work as well. Decide if your answer is reasonable before selecting the answer from the choices. Be sure to fill in the bubbles correctly. Do not make any stray marks around answer spaces. Change your first answer choice only if you are certain it is incorrect. When changing answers, make sure to erase completely. Frequently check that you are filling in the appropriate bubble and use approximately 1 minute for each item answered. Here's a strategy used with math. The 7 steps to problem solving. The first step is read the problem. The second is underline the question. The third, circle keywords. Step 4, box important numbers. Step 5, decide which operation to use. And step 6, write a number sentence. And finally, solve the problem. Now you try. Take a few moments and try and see if you can solve this word problem. Let's try together. Eric saved $24 in September. He saved $43 in October and $10 in November. Then Eric spent $70 on a video game. How much money does Eric have left? Step 1 is read the problem, which we just did. Step 2 is underline the question. The question is, how much money does Eric have left? Step 3, circle key words. Saved and spent are important words because they tell us saved means we're gaining money and spent means we're losing money. Box important numbers. 24, 43, 10, and 70 are all the numbers being either saved or spent. Step 5, decide which operation to use. In this word problem, we're using addition and subtraction. Step 6, write a number sentence. 24 plus 43 plus 10. Add those together and then subtract the $70 that Eric spent on the video game. Step 7, solve the problem. The answer for this problem is 7. If you didn't get this answer right on your first try on your own, please try it again with using these steps. Here is an example of a math constructed response rubric. You'll see that you receive a grade for your content, which would be your answer, and then your problem solving. How did you solve the problem? Always remember to show your work. Even if you don't get the correct answer, the scorer will also look for the method that you used to solve the problem. If the method you used to solve the problem is correct, you will receive points for that method. Finally, I want to touch on some resources that are still available to you prior to taking the IStep. Study Island gives you specific practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies if you are taking those subject area tests. Ask your SLA for more information if you have not received your username and password for Study Island. Next, practice makes perfect. Visit the Department of Education's website for sample tests and resources. Choose your appropriate grade level in the subject area and take those tests. It is not a complete test, but it will give you a good idea of what to expect when you're taking your test. Finally, the exit ticket. Attached to the email you received this presentation with, there is an attachment to print out this exit ticket. Please email these answers to your SLA and bring this ticket completed to the test site on the day of your test to get a prize. Good luck. You're going to do great.